Alright guys, more talking about RPGs I guess. If you like these videos, like, subscribe, comment, share, support the channel if you want to. I appreciate it, thanks. So, what would be something else I could talk about RPGs? We were talking about brokenness in RPGs recently, so maybe compared to fighting games or these other games that I found all these bugs for, all these, change the perspective of what is even possible in these games. But have I ever actually found any bugs and game breaking shit in RPGs? I would actually say, considering how many hundreds of hours I've put in certain RPGs, I would say generally no, right? Generally no, unfortunately, but maybe I can think of some, and if you guys have ever come across weird bugs, and for sure there are definitely some weird bugs. I mean, I always think about, I remember Final Fantasy 12, eventually speedrunners found out how to manipulate even what would show up in treasure chests and shit like that. So, I mean, there's definitely weird shit to be found, right? I guess since I just mentioned Final Fantasy 12, did anything weird ever happen to me in Final Fantasy 12? I guess the weirdest bug that ever happened to me in 12 is that Yasmat, whatever it is, the very final secret boss that can take you hours and hours to beat. When I was fighting it, it actually got stuck just walking in a circle, and I was actually pretty happy because I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna beat this thing super easy because it literally just got stuck walking in a circle, and I must have did that for like 25 maybe 30 minutes, and I eventually was like, okay, I'm gonna go get something to drink, I'm gonna beat this thing easy. And then after I unpaused the game, it started fighting me again, unfortunately. But I probably could have beat the thing in an hour or an hour and a half at the rate it was going if I didn't pause it. But anyway, weird bugs that I've ever come across. Final Fantasy X2. I don't remember ever having a bug really happen to me in Final Fantasy X, the first one, but Final Fantasy X-2, I've talked about it before. I had a really weird bug. I think it might have been something even with my memory card. It corrupted the game or some bullshit. For some reason, when I was on my second playthrough, I think it might have been my third playthrough. It gave me an extra AP egg for beating the Calm Lands. But when I went to the Calm Lands, I obviously didn't beat it, but it just gave me the egg for beating it an extra time anyway. So I was not able to get the percentage from beating the Calm Lands. So I was like, well, there goes this fucking playthrough of doing everything because I can't beat the Calm Lands now. It just gave me all the items for beating it for some reason, which was weird. And also, I was getting catnip, I think it's catnip, right? Whatever gives you happy trigger in that game that lets you destroy the game. I got catnips from Tomberries for some reason, which I would assume, I don't know if they ever figured out how to do that. That seems like something that would be very useful in speedruns if they ever figured out how the fuck that happened to me, because I think normally you get it after fighting the snake boss in the under Bavel, but I got it for fighting Tonberries, and the game just started glitching and giving it to me. So that was fucking weird. Final Fantasy 15. I'm sure a lot of other people have done weird bugs like this, but I've heard of, like, my friend played it and he said there's that one. What is it? That fucking. It's the one dungeon where you can't go unless it's night. It doesn't open, I think, and there's like a slight puzzle in it or something like that. And puzzle uses very loosely. It's not like a hard puzzle to do or anything like that. But I've heard of a friend, they did it and they tried to warp strike while they were doing it, and they warp striked out of the dungeon. And I know that dungeon glitched on me as well, that the little puzzle thing in there just froze. And so I just couldn't do anything, and I had to leave the fucking dungeon and then come back to beat it. So that was fucking retarded. And I also posted a video. I feel like these are probably pretty regular. Other people have probably done them on accident as well. You're fighting and you can warp strike out of a certain area, and then the enemy follows you, so the enemy becomes invincible. Or Omega weapon can accidentally teleport into areas it's not supposed to be. And so then when you try to fight it, and if you warp strike in certain places, you can walk out of bounds. So I have like a video of that even on my channel. But other than that, I feel like probably everyone has done some warp strikes, some fucking bullshit with that, and broken their game. Hmm. God, like I said, I feel like I have not come across a lot of actual bugs, or if they did, they're so minuscule. Like Star Ocean 3, God, I played that game so fucking much. I can't recall ever breaking the game with a bug or anything like that, or having weird bugs happen. Don't remember any happening in Persona 3. The only thing I could say that it was almost like a bug, it was so terrible, is I must have kicked off or clicked some algorithm where I died like 75% anytime anyone did a death spell on me. It actually, Persona 3, I actually died so often from death spells, it actually kind of lessen the enjoyment of the game. Like I actually at one point I was thinking like I gotta use a persona that has is not weak to death or to a light or a dark spell because this shit is killing me 75% of the time. It was ridiculous. Never happened to me in any other Persona game, but Persona 3 didn't even happen to me in Persona 3 Fez. It didn't happen, but Persona 3, the original, I must have clicked some algorithm or triggered some flag that I just literally died probably 75% of the time anything did a death spell on me. It was fucking terrible. But yeah, no bugs in any of the others except for Persona 5. I've said this before. I was not very horny about Persona 5, and I actually, there was that dungeon where you become a mouse, whatever the fuck it was, and I was already so fucking kind of like over the game. You know what? Some people say they like Persona 5. Persona 5 was just not very fun to me. I don't have very fond memories of playing that game. And there's that fucking mouse dungeon, and I remember I beat the mouse dungeon, and so I went back and I'm like, I'm gonna save my game just in case I think I'm getting close to the end of the game. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna go back. Maybe they're gonna try to scam me. There's not gonna be a save point right before the boss. So I went back, I saved it, and then when I went back in the dungeon bugged out, and anytime I fought an enemy or I tried to run away or I beat it, whatever, the enemy instantly popped up and hit me again. So it was like a slow crawl through the whole dungeon. And also, the dungeon, since I had already beaten it, basically, I guess, it took away all the color coded areas for where you've been and what dungeon was door was locked and unlocked. So I had to go through the whole dungeon while enemies were endlessly respawning me and hitting me over and over again. And I had no idea where the fuck I was going because I couldn't look at the colors like, oh, I did this area, I did this area, so now I'm gonna go here, here, here. And the whole thing, it reset the whole dungeon and it was terrible. And at some point I paused the game and I went to take a shit and I was like, I don't know if I want to beat this game. I was having like an existential crisis. Like, I don't know if I want to fucking beat this game anymore. It was so. Ugh. Some people like Persona 5. God, I feel like it's just become. The more I think about it, the more unfun it gets. I don't know. I guess I could fucking. Maybe one day I'll play it again. One of the only RPGs I've never played twice. I was done with it and I'm like, I'm done. I don't need to play this game ever again, and I never have as it is. But other than that, yeah, can I think I have not really experienced a lot of game breaking bugs or glitches in RPGs, thinking about how many of them that I've played and all that kind of stuff. Man, don't remember any in Final Fantasy 7 remake, anything like that. Final Fantasy 8, I don't remember any bugs. Don't remember any bugs in Lunar, but you know, I was so young when I played that. I mean, geez. So I guess maybe Shenmue 2. I feel like something probably happened to me in one of the Shenmue games if you count that as an RPG, but generally speaking, I guess compared to fighting games, I have not come across a lot of game breaking bugs while just fiddling around with stuff trying to do shit. The end.